Why are players winning millions of loyalty? We can answer that one. Where is the gold compensation for Sigil Spenders after the bug 2 weeks ago? Kabam answer the question on Masteries 2.0. And do Kabam really understand what's going on with AI? It turns out it's actually the input system. Apparently. Yes, hello everybody, welcome to your MCN for Monday. Hello. I'm back from a small vacation, which was very nice and relaxing. Went to see Darren Brown, that was an amazing performance, and also saw the Van Gogh exhibition, which is an interactive experience, as you can see on screen right now. It's got all this kind of like stuff on the screen. It's all interactive, it's fun, it's also very educational and at the same time inspirational. But I'm back firing all cylinders, got some big major content to make this week, so make sure to hit the like button, subscribe with post notifications on all. Subscribing is free, let's push, get some subscribees, yes please. Now let's kick things off with the Summon a Sigil Gold Circle Quest Compensation situation. So what is this all about? If you don't know already, back I think it was 2 weeks ago, maybe even approaching to 3 weeks ago, especially close to the Paragon title release, players were experiencing an issue with the quest not being there, and that means if you weren't able to do it and it was missing, then you missed out on gold. And if you're spending money on a sigil, which is the monthly thing that the game has, then you might feel a little bit hard done by on this. And yeah, disappointing to see that not come back. It was said that Kabam were going to do a compensation for this, but it looks like as of the 28th, there doesn't seem to be any kind of update in this particular situation, which I find very, very baffling. So Kabam, make sure to compensate players for the loss of that gold that they are, you know, deserving. And yeah, I'm sure that as people would say, is that a bit disappointed to pay money for something that not receiving. Yeah, so and the company just goes to for a response. So Kabam, please get responding. Please deal with this, because you know there are people that are upset with this situation. 18 million loyalty. Yes, that is our next story. We're talking about the extensive amount of loyalty, which you can see right here, that some players are getting after losing in Alliance Wars. That would be great, especially for purchasing means, but what is the story with this? Why have we seen so much loyalty for certain players? What are Kabam planning to do about it? Let's have a look into this. In any case of the situation, what is going on? Well, as the player says here, our alliance got rewarded 20 million loyalty for losing a war, and most of our alliance is worried about getting banned if they use it. Is it a glitch, or are we allowed to spend it? And yeah, like the red flags I think would have been raised if you saw that huge amount of loyalty to begin with. But the biggest problem I find with the game is like, why doesn't Kabam do like an in-game kind of mail, you know, warning, current bug in the community? And that's like, it's helpful to let players know what's going on. You know, some players don't want to come to the forums. They don't want to go to YouTube. They don't want to go to Twitter. They don't want to go to, they just want to like stay within their game, the confines of the game. So having something, as we've talked about this like a lot of times, about the idea of like having something across the banner right here. I know like Kabam want to do this new thing, but with a lot of the spacing that they could do, it's just like a current bugs situation, like warning, current bugs. You know, and the Alliance War situation, which gives you, if you click on it, maybe a link to the forums, like you can see right here. It's just that little bit of kind of like helping out players to kind of get information, which is like what I try and do with this particular show. It's like what I try and do with a lot of this channel, is to do information. I like gathering together information and kind of like giving it to players so that they can keep well informed with stuff going on. And I think that Kabam need to do something like that, similar as to like how they bridge the gap between giving that information. But in any case, Kabam, first of all, Kabam Miki was like, I want to know your username on the Alliance. Like, oh, that's always red flags. And then the answer to that is that, all right, we found fixed the issue. We have to take back the majority of the loyalty. Don't know exact numbers just yet, but unfortunately, we cannot let you keep that loyalty. Well, duh. We suggest not spending it right now, because that could result in some weirdness later when it's taken back. Should have put something out in game, especially for certain people. And a player said here, I also received 18 million loyalty, I spent 40% of it without really thinking of potential consequences. What might the outcome of this look for players that spent some of the loyalty? Which again, it goes back to give them fair warning. Yeah, people will go like, oh, here's, oh, you shouldn't spend 18 million loyalty. Well, it's like, well, it's there. Like, what are you going to do? Just ignore it? And it may be for new players as well. If new players are new to the game, they don't read the forums, they don't have any kind of like in-game messaging. They will literally just go, oh, I guess I can just, oh, it's there for whatever reason. And they'll be none the wiser on it. So, yeah, I think more work needs to be done with that down the line with it. And there was an official kind of like note that was put out on this saying we are aware of the issue caused by alliances in certain tiers running certain number of battle groups to be awarded millions of loyalty for a loss. We have now, hang on a minute, we are aware of an issue that caused alliances in certain tiers running certain number of battle. It's like they're accusing people of kind of like an exploit. We have now fixed the issue. We'll take back a majority of the loyalty, though we do not know how much that will be at this time. We apologize for this issue. To minimize any risk issues using the loyalty taken back, we suggest that anybody affected not spend more loyalty than should have expected from the lost rewards. Well, again, only people that go on the forums are going to see this. So anybody that kind of like doesn't go on the forums, doesn't see this video, doesn't go on Twitter, doesn't go on a few other things as well, are not going to know about the confines of spending it. Should not spend. Right, okay, fine. Now we're on to our next story, and this is all about Masteries 2.0. As a lot of you know, it is one of the things that I kind of hope for the most, a Mastery 2.0. A loadout shift, if you will, set between one set of Mastery loadout that I make and also secondary. It's like saying I can switch from my Suicide Mastery without having to spend the time to kind of reallocate stuff in a certain way to say a normal generic one, which I have right here, which is all about me kind of like doing things like Eternity of Pain. And that's one thing that I'm kind of a little bit annoyed about having Eternity of Pain go for such a long time, is a shift between me wanting to stay with Suicide. I recently changed back to Suicide Masteries and really enjoyed it, and I thought, oh, I might stick with this for a lot longer. But then as Eternity of Pain kind of crept through, I'm reminded more as to why I would want to go back to a more generic, and that's the biggest problem with it. So having something that I could switch between quite easily without having to kind of go like, oh, I've got to change this again and again and again, or have to change it from a little bit of this, a little bit of that, so it looks like, oh, I only have to spend a little bit of these units, and it's like, no, I don't want that. I want to be either A or B, and that's it, and kind of like have that kind of like quick kind of shift and differing between going, okay, I'm grinding arena today, I'll do Suicide Masteries, click a button, go. I love that. In any case, Kabam Mike does respond to all of this saying, we understand that Masteries rework has taken longer than anticipated, but I want to reassure you that the changes are still being worked on and you'll see them in the future. With the development of Battlegrounds, there's an additional importance for Masteries, as you'll want to make changes depending on the champions you'll want to use. However, it also adds a layer of complexity to the rework. Rework? I thought this was meant to be about the loadout switch. While we do not have details on a specific timeline, the plan is to make this process much more approachable for players upon its full implementation. As more details become available to us, we'll be sure to pass them on to you. Yeah, no. It doesn't mention anything about the loadout switching, the 2.0. Mastery loadouts or whatever may come is about an evolution of masteries and how they are used applied. But the intention was never to make Masteries changes for free. I mean, yeah, I can imagine that. But the idea of like switching between loadouts, it is kind of like what the players need as much as anything else. Having the option to switch, like other games, Marvel Future Revolution. There's tons. I'm not going to mention ones because like people go, oh, don't mention that one. That's sponsored one. No one likes that. So, yeah, but it's like there's loads of different types of games out there that already have what Kabam are now trying to do. What, we're coming at 8 years now to do exactly what other games have done in the past or trying to do. So it's very slow. They're very slow in developing stuff compared with other games, which I do find kind of weird. But it may be down to like, yeah, still the extent of like team, the scope of what they can do, limitations, and yeah, just a bit disappointing really not seeing anything with Masteries done quite so much. Like I know that maybe they're kind of looking to rework them to add in new Masteries, but it's just just having a nice simple thing where you can just go like now, click a button, and you're able to switch between one set and another set, and the loadout switches like just kind of like go on. You know, you choose from either being Suicide Masteries or a loadout that you choose to your liking, like your loadout 1, loadout 2. just would be really good. So yeah, it looks like it is sort of coming in the future, but I literally wouldn't hold your breath with this stuff, especially because this was announced 2 years ago and nothing has happened since. So we'll see. And the penultimate thing we're going to cover today, and I'm going to be doing a bit of a longer video that's devoted to this as the second video of today, but I just want to say that the things that were brought up about the AI behavior, there's some very kind of weird responses from Kabam on this particular subject. And it was something that's been raised since the Crossbones fight and Eternity of Pain, and it's been something that's been talked about over the last year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, since I'd say the good 3-4 years. Definitely not like it was in the first 3 years of the game, but definitely AI behavior has got and been strange. It's been very strange. Now this may be something to kind of bring up a tinfoil hat situation, but I think it's definitely something I need to spend a bit more time to devote into a video. As I said, video later on. But the main thing that keeps being brought up is AI profile, and how these seem to be is what Kabam go hardest fights in the game, including Alliance Wars and things like Labyrinth of Legends and Abyss of Legends. The way that, say, the AI is different because it's set to a different profile, saying, okay, this difficult content, this difficult. That's kind of how I think Kabam have kind of saying this in a nutshell. But some omissions are made that are kind of raise a lot of questions, and especially when you look at some of the old AI, and I welcome people to go back to some older content. Check out the way that the AI moves and also the extent of how it operates. When it's in a block, how it throws specials, when it comes out at you. These are things that definitely kind of point to some changes from how it was back then to how it is right now. And this, again, as I said, I will have to kind of elaborate more in some videos. But when you see stuff like Kabam saying the AI was not changed to compensate for issues earlier and there's nothing to change back to, could there be differences to how the AI is acting or reacting? Absolutely, but those should be treated as bugs and not intentional changes. So the game's bugged, but then there's so much more to this situation. I mean, here's a good example right on screen right now. So this is from a friend of mine called Flak. Shout out to Flak Diesel, and you can see right here the way that this looks. So the enemy AI, so the blade is coming down with the attack. I can't remember if this is I want to say it's the medium attack. But in any case, you can see that Scarlet Witch Sigil was kind of got the hitbox. She's hit first. That's part of the hitbox. But the winner of this is Blade. Blade wins that particular kind of interaction right there. But even though the later, it's so many weird things that go on with this, and does point to maybe the game is bugged in certain areas, especially when it comes to certain AI profiles like this right here. Kabam also say that there could be a knock-on effect from the input system change, which again is hard to kind of say if that is definitely a case. The input system has not been fixed. Yes, it's been changed, but it hasn't been fixed, especially with looking at some inputs that I've seen recently that just make you go, what is going on with this game? They also go a bit further to kind of go on the subject of how this is reported and also the length of time that they need to be invested in order to deal with this. But, you know, if they're questioning oh, this is going to be a lot of hard work, blah, 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 yada, 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 it's well, this game needs all, constant work. You can't just go, we'll deal with it when we get to it. It's this game's been running for 8 years. Nearly 8 years. There's been things that have always needed to be dealt with. So continue developing, continue working hard, innovate, improve, get a bigger team. The game makes enough money. Why hasn't it got more of a resource to get things done? That's what I would be questioning if I was a member of Kabam and looking at, why can't we do more for the players that play this game when it comes to the simple operations of swiping on a screen, the input system, and the enemy's behavior and AI movements, especially when it comes to things like what could be hitboxes, lag or battle lag, and other things as well. The way that the champions move, their behavior, so many things. Masteries, I mean, we've just talked about that. And why hasn't that been dealt with? So many questions. At Kabam, members of Kabam, ask the questions to yourself. Why aren't we doing more for the players? Some of the stuff we said we were going to do, why hasn't it been done? And why can't we get it done? Let's get it done. Bit of positivity, come on. We end our coverage as we normally do with arena results, especially for Doom and Wong. The results look like this. Dr. Doom, 80 mil, which I predicted went to position 80. Let's go over the results now. 35 position, 80 mil. 89 position, 63 mil. 402 position, got for the 5-star at 23 mil. That's for Dr. Doom. Wong, 193 mil, got position 83. And then right down here, 46.3 mil, got position 456, which got the 5-star. My predictions for round 2 are Dr. Doom for 65 mil for the 6-star, 5-star, 22 mil for Dr. Doom, 190 mil for Wong, and 5-star, 50 mil straight up again, just depending on the arena, because as we learned from the Sigil Witch arena, people come out to grind a little bit more on round 2, which is weird, but people do what they want to do. Also, just before we end, I want to give a massive thank you to those that support the channel as a YouTube member and as a Patreon. You're on screen right now. Thank you very much for supporting the channel as you do. And also those that support on twitch.tv/RichTheMan live. Should hopefully see you very soon for our live stream. Much love and all that stuff. Make sure to check out some other content located on screen right now. The new stuff for next month will be announced towards the end of the week, I would assume, but I've been stung like that before. Okay, bye-bye.